So you have decided you're ready to sell your home and you need to fix a few things up first. But what is really worth it in the end to get your money back? Here are 6 things that you do not need to fix before you sell your home because you will not see a return on your money. The very first one are pools. So we love pools, especially here in Georgia. Pools are great. It gets hot. They're awesome. You would think that would be a really good return on your money, but it's not. I had a client that just sold their house and they had a fiberglass pool. It cost them about $50,000 to $60,000 and they only gave them a $15,000 credit on the appraisal when they sold it. So that's only a 25% return on investment there. Now, of course, if you can go with a cheaper pool, you're not going to look at spending that much money and you can be a little bit better off. However, you got to think about this. It's not always a benefit to some people. Some people, they don't want the hassle of a pool and they will just fill it in. So it's seen as a negative to them. You also have to have safety things around, such as gates and things like that, that can be a pain to some people. If they have small children, they may not feel safe having a pool there. There's just a lot of things that can go into it to think about. So if you're wanting to have a pool for you and for your use for the summer and you're going to be there at least a couple more years, sure, go ahead. You'll get your enjoyment out of it. But pools cost a lot of money. There's a lot of maintenance and upkeep there, and you will not see that return when you go to sell it. Number 2, finishing your basement. So I know that sounds like a great idea because you're adding square footage and you're getting more space and you can count it, you know, an extra bedroom or whatever, but you do not get the same money for a finished square foot in a basement than you do in the upstairs. I've seen it kind of all over the place, but you're looking at least 50 to 70 cents off the dollar than it would be on a main level. So that's a big difference. So in order for it to be counted, it needs to have a window that an adult person can fit through and an entryway. So it'd have to have the door plus the window. So if that's not possible in yours, because I had in my old house, I had a huge finished room in the basement, amazing bathroom with the walk-in closet, like all kinds of things. That did not get to count as a bedroom when it came time for appraisal because it did not have that window. So just keep that in mind. It can cost a lot of money to finish up a place like a basement, but you will not get that same return if you did the upstairs, or you could spend that money in a couple of other things. Again, if you need the space and it's going to make sense for you, go for it, but just keep that in mind. Number 3, completely renovating your kitchen and your bathroom. What did she say? So I know that's kind of crazy because you typically hear about people, the first thing, that's where you get the most of your money at, renovating the kitchen, renovating the bathroom. And that's true, you do get a lot of money for those things. However, if you're not going to completely renovate a house and just do everything updated, there's no sense in just updating 1 or 2 of those spots because you're not going to see the return in the end. So if you're coming in and you're going to make this gorgeous grand kitchen and take out walls and replace everything, and you're going to leave the bathrooms the way they are or leave the master bedroom really outdated and not in good shape, just don't do it. You would be better off spent doing some of the smaller things. So paint the cabinets, give them a fresh look. I have a really cool thing that I've done in my kitchens where I added trim around it. There were some solid wood cabinet doors. They were in good shape. They were just ugly. So I added some trim to make them into more of like a shaker style cabinet. It looked great, cost me a fraction of the cost, and that was definitely a really good upgrade. There are some cheap ways that you can replace countertops to make them look better. But just looking at some of these cheaper things, but definitely don't go in and tear out all your cabinets, bring in new ones, tear down walls. Like, it's just not going to pay off in the end. The 4th thing are going to be your common maintenance repairs, such as water heater, roof, HVAC, things like that. So I know you would think that, oh, I'm spending this large amount of money, I would get that back, but you don't. People see that as a common repair that most homeowners have to do. So let's say that your HVAC is getting towards the end of its life. I would not replace that. I would pocket that money that you're going to spend, and I would instead offer it as a credit to the buyer. Now, you never know. Some buyers may come in. I've had this happen where they looked at the seller's property disclosure. They saw exactly how old it was. It only had a couple years left. It was still working, but it only had a couple years left, and it was a hot item on the market. So they didn't even ask for any repairs whatsoever. My clients got to pocket all of that. They didn't have to worry about it. We just went on along with it. If they had went ahead and spent it, that would be money out of their pocket they wouldn't get back. So keep that in mind. Now, on the roof, if you are having active leaks, of course, we need to go ahead and get that taken care of because that can destroy a bunch of things and cause a lot of problems. But if it's just kind of old and it's not having any leaks, I would wait on that because you may want to put down shingles and the new owner may want a metal roof. You just never know. So it's better just to have that money in pocket and see if they try to negotiate that and then offer it for them as a credit instead. Number 5, Do not over update. Before I was even in real estate, one of my bosses gave me some really good advice, and she said, you don't ever want to be the most expensive home in a neighborhood. And at the time, I didn't really get it, and I was thinking, well, sure, I want to be the nicest house in the neighborhood. But then once I got into real estate, I understood why. So whenever they go to price your home out, they've got to look at the comparables. They're going to look at how much every other home in that subdivision has sold for. So if you're already at the top of that price range, there's not much more that you can go. So keep that in mind when you're doing renovations. So when you're going in, if all the other homes only have laminate countertops, it probably would not be a good idea for you to go in and get marble or granite, because that's just going to be more than the most recent comps can support, and you're not going to get that money back in the end. Same thing with some of these extra things. Like I had this happen to one of my clients. He had a really nice home and he had made some amazing improvements to it. He had this really nice rock wall that was custom built this really nice porch, and had a pool that he was put in, just all these things that were really nice upgrades, but we could not find the comps to support asking as much as he wanted to. So keep that in mind. Depending on how long you're going to live there, if it's just going to be for a couple of years, don't do these crazy extravagant upgrades, because you're not going to see that return unless you bought like a fixer-upper and it's in a really, really nice neighborhood and you can get that return on your money. That would change things. And then number 6, partial fixes. So that is one of the other things that I see a lot of clients come in and they see that someone kind of did a halfway job. So if you're gonna do it, commit and get it done. And I don't mean finding a cheaper way to do things. That's perfectly fine. We know I love to save some money, but I'm talking about going in and getting halfway through and then kind of leaving it. Or I mean going in and, you know, just doing a terrible job. People can notice that. So if you're gonna commit to updating something, update it all the way. One time I was working on this renovation of my house and it had popcorn ceilings and I was scraping it down, and let me tell y'all, that is the worst thing ever. Pay somebody, it's so worth it. And we did a couple of rooms. We started in one other room and I don't know what it was, but it would not scrape off. Like, so we had one strip done and that was it. And I'm thinking, we can't leave this. Like, we started this, that obviously looks ridiculous. We cannot leave this. So we had to fix it and we had to complete our job, because you just cannot go into something partially. You got to commit and then make it all the way through. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure you check out this video here where I can tell you exactly how much you're looking to make when you do sell your home, so there are no surprises. As always, I'm your unicorn real estate agent, helping you turn your home dreams into a reality.